Hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome to the channel. I've not done one of these for a little while, so today it's a book haul and I've got a nice batch of fantasy and science fiction titles to show you. So the last time I did a book haul, I had a conversation in the comments and a couple of other places, and it was decided that I would have a look at some of the digital titles I've picked up as well, so I'm going to start there. It's not something that I generally tend to track. I've got a spreadsheet so I don't miss any out when I do a book haul video, but I should probably add audio and Kindle titles onto that spreadsheet as well. I've got a few of each of those to start off with though, and first of all is Stormblood by Jeremy Zell. This is book one of The Common. It's a sci-fi title that I've seen around for quite a bit, and I was just hunting around for something new to try out and decided to give this one a go, so I picked up book one of the series on ebook. I've then got Embers Rising, book one of The Fixers by Sterling Carmichael. I saw this a while ago and I actually really quite liked the cover and it sounded pretty cool as well. I think it was a band who are pulled together to do a heist, I'm not sure, I might be misremembering that. But I saw the cover of book two recently and thought I quite liked that as well and decided to pick it up. We were discussing this in my Discord server. I really like it when a series has book covers that all flow, they match, they look like they are part of a series, and with this one, the nice blue cover, book two is a nice green cover and it's got very similar elements to it, and I just love how they look together, so hopefully I'll enjoy this one and I'll look at maybe picking up a paperback or a hardcover copy if they're available, and also having a look at book two. I've then got Spark of the Divine. This is book one of the Calorac Chronicles by Louise Holland. This is one that I've heard lots of good things about, especially for someone like me who really likes a classic fantasy vibe but with a modern writing style. My good friend Desmay has raved about this one, and we do have a lot of crossover in taste, so hopefully I'm going to really enjoy this one as well. I've then got Kingdom of Dragons by Jed Hearn. I'm not sure actually if this is book one in the series or not, but it's one that I backed on Kickstarter and it just sounded really cool and it looks pretty cool as well, with some really nice artwork in the physical editions, which if I enjoy this book I might pick up and get on my shelf as well. And then the last one that I'll go through for ebook is a copy of a review copy, an ARC that I've got on NetGalley, and this one is Shroud by Adrian Tchaikovsky. We know that I like a bit of Adrian Tchaikovsky, so looking forward to doing a buddy read with this in December or January with a couple of people on my Discord who are also big fans and have review copies. This one comes out in February 2025. Onto the audio then, and yesterday I picked up a copy of Umbra Sentient Stars book one by Amber Toro. This is narrated by Megan Carver and Benjamin Farmer as a dual narration. I don't really know too much about this book. I was going to be reading it in, I think it was in October, but I didn't get round to it, so when it didn't quite fit into the schedule in the month I planned it, I heard towards the end of that month that an audiobook was imminent, so I thought I'm going to leave it anyway and wait for that. So I've picked this one up now and I'm going to slot it in possibly towards the end of November, or if not into my December reading plan. I've got King's Dragon. This is a series of books that I went through. Again, I was just looking for something new to pick up, and I went through the Audible, I can't remember what it's called, but the library that you have for members where you can get a few free titles, and one of those was King's Dragon book one of Crown of Stars by Kate Elliott. This one's narrated by Shiromi Arserio. It's one that my friend Nico has raved about. He loves this series. It's 7 or 8 books, I think. It's not a new series, but I think it's maybe recently in the last few years been finished off, but don't quote me on that. I'm looking forward to trying this one out. I've read a few of Kate Elliott's works in both fantasy and now sci-fi as well, with Unconquerable Sun, and I've generally enjoyed what she's written, so hopefully that'll continue with this one. Another one of those Audible Plus library catalogue, whatever it's called, titles that I picked up was Redemption's Blade by Adrian Tchaikovsky. This is After the War book one, narrated by Nicola Barber. This is one that I've looked at a few times, but I've never decided to actually go for. It's a bit of a strange one as well, because I'll probably class it as a standalone. Adrian Tchaikovsky wrote the first book in the series, and then the rest of the series was written written by somebody else. That was planned, it was the way it was set out to be. I believe it was maybe supposed to be each book was by a different author, but I think the person who wrote the second book might have continued the series or written some associated works as well. Either way, as I say, I'm going to look at this one as a standalone because apparently it's a bit of a tonal shift as well between books 1 and 2, but I'm the Adrian Tchaikovsky fan, that's why I've picked this one up and why I'm looking forward to reading it. Then we've got The Traitor God, Age of Tyranny 1 by Cameron Johnson, narrated by Paul Woodson, and this was the last of those titles that I picked up from the Plus catalogue on Audible. Cam is an author who I've read a few of his works now, and I've generally thought they were pretty good. Not anything that's really been sort of knocked out of the park for me, but fingers crossed one of those titles will come along at some point. But yeah, I've generally enjoyed his work, so hopefully they'll continue with this one, which I believe might have been his debut novel. And then finally we've got Wistful Ascending, Book 1 of Hybrid Helix by JCM Byrne, narrated by Wayne Ferrell. This is one I considered reading a couple of times. It's not really my thing, but I've decided to put a series, a collection on my 2025 reading plan of books that are maybe just a little bit out of my comfort zone. I wouldn't normally pick them up, but I am a little bit interested in. So after having a chat with JCM Byrne, we decided that I would have a look at this one. So he sent me an Audible code to get the audiobook because he had a few spares. So looking forward to that one and the rest of these. Those are the digital copies that I've picked up over the last few months, and now it's time to have a look at some physical copies. And I'm going to start off with, it seems like a long time ago now, but it has been a while since I've done a book haul, but I've finally got sorted out the advent of winter, so I've got this lovely paperback. I'm so happy to have this on my shelf, or you know, it's normally on my shelf, but yeah, a lot of hard work went into this by myself putting it together, but by the 23 authors who joined me in writing for this fantasy anthology that came out in November, December last year really, so you could read the opening stories as advent calendars. And I've kept the nice black title pages and some of the interior artwork, or all of the interior artwork that was in the Kickstarter edition hardcover. So if you weren't able to get hold of a copy of that, you can at least get the paperback instead. A few titles that I picked up just because I had some money for some Amazon gift vouchers and things like that after my birthday, as I generally do. And in August, that's how far we're going back here, I picked up a few titles to spend some of that. So I got myself a hardcover copy of Talon Sister by Jen Williams. I really enjoyed this one. I haven't read book 2 yet. I can't remember if it's out or if it's not quite out as yet, but that's the second book in a duology and I'm looking forward to continuing it. But I saw the hardcover was reduced on Amazon to about 12 quid, so I thought I might as well pick it up because I do want a copy on my shelf of books that I enjoy. Another title I picked up just because I thought it looked pretty cool and sounded pretty cool, and it's quite short as well. This one is Sword of Yells by Louis Falcao de Magalhães, and it's not going to be the first name that I butcher, so I do apologise to anyone that applies to. But yeah, this one I quite liked the cover. As I say, it sounded pretty cool, and it's one that's not going to take too long, hopefully, to get through when I do add it to my list. It's just over 230 pages if you take out the back matter from this one. So yeah, nice short read, hopefully a good read. Author that I've not read as yet, so we'll see if it's one that I'm going to like. Then I picked myself up a book that I did read previously and did enjoy. This is Of Thieves and Shadows by B.S.H. Garcia. Really enjoyed this one. I proofread book 2 and loved it. It's a great read, and I'm going to be adding that one to my collection as soon as I can as well, because that is now out in paperback as well, and hardback, I believe, also. But yeah, really enjoyed this one. It's book 1 of the Heart of Quinaria series, and if you haven't read it, I recommend picking it up and giving it a go. Another one that I read recently, I did the audiobook of this one actually after picking up a copy, but this is Quinns Assassin by James Barclay. I like James Barclay. I've read some of his books and really had a good time with them, most notably the Chronicles of a Raven, starting with Dawn Thief, and this was a standalone title that I really had a good time with. It's got a really cool sassy main character, and she just worked for me. The dialogue that we had in this one and the interactions with her friends and colleagues, I really enjoyed. It was a good time listening to it, and a pretty good story going along with it as well. A gift now that I received from a friend. This is one from Tufty McTavish, and he got me a copy of The Bloodstones by Tory Tech, and this is another one that I proofread actually, and I think he had a copy of it, and I just mentioned that I was going to pick up a copy, and shortly afterwards this one landed on my doorstep. So thank you very much, Tufty. It's a really enjoyable story, this. The first book in the Legends of the Bruhai, and the second book is going to be coming out before too long, I hope. So I'm looking forward to getting my hands on that and continuing the story. Next up, I've got the first of a couple of titles that are going to be duplicates, because I've also got a physical copy of Umbra by Amber Toro. This is one that my wife bought me for our anniversary. There's another one down the side that came along with this one, but I do like the cover on this one. I just think it works really, really well. I'm hoping that I'm going to enjoy the story. As I say, I've got the audiobook now, so I'm going to give this one a listen in the even this month or next month. So the second title that Katie got me for our anniversary was another B.S.H. Garcia one. This is From the Depths, and it's this is the second novella in the series The Heart of Quinaria, and it's another one that I actually proofread, so that's why I've got a lovely copy. I do like the cover on it and the colour that we've got there, but it's always really nice to have a copy of books that I've worked on my shelf as well. From the author now, from Alex C. Pearce, I've got The Blood of Quinns. This is book 2 of, I think, is it just the Crow's Gambit, it does say on there. So I eventually got round to listening to book 1, The Blood of Crows, and I had a really good time with it. So I'm hoping that's going to be the same for book 2 in the series. It's a really dark cover. There's a good bit of detail on there, but it's all quite sort of dull and gloomy and atmospheric, so there's not much that can be made out on the camera there, I think, but it's a title that I'm looking forward to getting to the insides of and seeing if I enjoy it. And then one that I did read recently and really enjoy, because I had a review copy of it. This is Fury of the Gods by John Gwynne, book 3, the final book in the Bloodsworn saga. I loved this series. I love John Gwynne's work, and yeah, it's one that I definitely recommend. It's a bit heavy going at times, depending on what you like with words that you can't pronounce, words that aren't in your native language, because there are quite a few of those that are included along with the English or you know, whatever it's translated as, I suppose, for your own native language. But yeah, for me it made it a little bit tricky at times, but the story itself, the characters, everything else that went along with this book and this series, I absolutely loved. Then I've got a bit of an odd one for me, but this is going to be another one that I'm adding into my sort of outside my comfort zone category for my 2025 reading plan. This came from Palmer Pickering, and it's Third Lock from the Sun by Rex Burke, and she got this actually kind of primarily thinking of my wife, who's Scottish, because we thought that she might enjoy it, but I'm going to give it a go as well and see if I like it. It's very different, not just in the context, it's or the contents. It's a kind of sci-fi rom-com is my understanding, but also in the cover, which is a bit different as well. But I love those colour combinations. I just think they work really well to set this title apart. And it's another one that, if you look at Rex Burke's the other titles that he's put out, they've got a very good theme, a very continual theme across the covers as well, so nice and easily recognisable. Another review copy that I was sent by an author. I'm really, really happy that this book exists, first of all, but also, of course, that I've got a copy. This is A Ballad of Vengeance by my friend Kareem Solomon. And the reason I'm really happy is because this is based on a short story that was included and indeed written for the advent of winter. There are a few authors who are extending those stories, or who are writing stories using those short stories from the advent of winter as the basis, the inspiration, the starting place for them. And to my knowledge at least, this is the first one that's seen the light of day. So I'm really looking forward to it. I did enjoy the book Frozen Hell, the story rather, that Kareem wrote for the advent of winter. So looking forward to this one. And my friend Nina has already read it. She was part of the alpha reading team, and she really had a good time with it. So fingers crossed that will apply to me as well. Couple of books from another author who was responsible for one of the stories in the Advent of Winter, actually. And again, this is the first book in this series is going to be on my outside of the comfort zone category for my 2025 reading plan. This is nearly got the wrong title there, No Land for Heroes by Cal Black, and the one that I nearly said is No Port for a Storm, which is book 2. And these are the Legends and Legacies series, book 1 and book 2. And I really like the covers, but these copies from Amazon, as well as being very shiny, they are a little bit dark. So there is, I'll put up a picture here, there is some really nice kind of background newspaper print for both of these covers, and it just looks really cool and works really well, but it's very, very faint. I don't think you can see it on screen. You can just about see it in the flesh here, so to speak. But yeah, they're really cool. They're not really my usual thing, dealing with guns and mechanics. You've got that big train there on the front of book 1 in a fantasy, but it is one that I've really been tempted to try out a few times in the past, and I've spoken to Cal about that a few times. So next year is going to be my time. Then again, I've got lots of these actually, and I guess this is the reason, but another book that's going on my reading plan for next year in that category that I wouldn't normally read a book from. This is The Harlequin's Legacy by Andres Rosas Hot, and again, do apologise for any mispronunciation there, but this one is a kind of a dark YA fantasy mixed with a lot of adventure. I love this cover. It's really, really funky. There's a lot going on there, but it's really intricate, really well done. And the rest of the book as well follows suit, basically. There's some good artwork inside from the cover artist, and that one I will murder the name of, so I'm not going to attempt it. I do apologise. Then the second of those books that I've got duplicated in this little collection, I actually received, after I got the NetGalley copy, I was offered a copy of Shroud by Adrian Tchaikovsky by the publisher, so I said yes please. I'm sorry for biting your hand off. So this one arrived just a few days ago. I do like how it's got that lovely bit of spot varnishing. You can see shining there for the title on the front cover. But I do like how it's a different cover. If you remember the cover I showed when I got when I showed up the digital copy I've got with those lovely colours on it. This one's very similar cover, slightly different with the tagline showing up a bit more space, but other than the colours, it's just a very similar design. But I like how it's a little bit different. It stands out from the crowd a bit for the review copy. I like it when a book does that. And then the last two that I received, I don't know who these are from, but we have a Secret Santa going on in my Discord server at the moment, and I gave it plenty of time for international postage and people taking a bit of time to pick things out for the person they're gifting to, and most people have actually got it sorted out already, so we've needed a bit of cheer recently, and a few people in my Discord server have been getting it through the lovely medium of books. And my Secret Santa bought me a book that I read some time ago. This is The Bloody Chorus by John Marco. Excuse me, please. This is book 1 of Impossible Gods. I'm hoping that it is book 1. He's got the series title there. I did speak to the author, and he said, if I remember rightly, he was going to see how this one's received, basically, see how it does, and then consider book 2 in the series. There were some other considerations around it, but I got the impression that it wasn't a given that there would be a second book being worked on, but yeah, I'm hoping that there will be, because I really liked it. I had a good time with it, and it's a really nice looking book as well, with a bit of Felix Ortiz artwork on there. So whoever you are, my Secret Santa, thank you very much for that. I did get a second book from them as well, and it's a big chunky one. This one is To Ride Hell's Chasm by Jenny Wirtz. So I read my first and my second actually Jenny Wirtz title this year and had a good time with them. I'm hoping to continue that. If I'm not mistaken, I think this one is a standalone title, but I'll find out a little bit closer to the time of reading it. But yeah, I hear some really good things about this one. Although it's obviously the smaller format, it's around about 700 pages, so a big chunky thing here for me to really get my teeth into. So thank you very much to everyone who sent me books. I love receiving books. There's no obligation to send me anything from any of my friends in reading, in authoring, and in the publishing world as well. But I really, really do thank everyone who has sent me something that's been included in this book haul today. That's everything I've got for you today. I hope you've enjoyed this video, this look through some of the new books I've added to my collection. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of these, or if you're looking forward to me reading any of these and finding out a little bit more about them. I'll hopefully see you in the next video sometime soon. Until then, of course, take care of yourselves, read some good books. Bye for now.